Hi, my name is Chris. My group and I will briefly explain the concept of the Bridges transition model in regard to managing organisational change. Rather than choose an event that was specific to an individual in the group, we realised that all 4 members have experienced a shift in management hierarchy whilst in the employ of an organisation. Therefore, each member will briefly discuss their experience during one of the 3 stages of the Bridges transition model. Before we begin the discussion, I will quickly explain what the Bridges transition model is all about. William Bridges originally proposed the transition model in his 1991 publication, Managing Transition. The key observation made within his report was that a line could be drawn to delineate between the idea of change and transition as 2 separate entities. Bridges stated that change was inevitable and unavoidable. Alternatively, transition is the intrinsic thought process of an individual when they go through change. The difference between these 2 notions is key, as the process of transition can be tracked through 3 stages. Stage 1, ending, losing and letting go. Stage 2, the neutral zone. And stage 3, the new beginning. Because this process can be tracked, it therefore can be planned for, which inevitably will lead to a clearer management directive. Sean will now take you briefly through stage 1, providing insight from his own experience.
So, stage 1 of the Bridges transition model explores the initial reactions of change by those involved. This stage is usually met with great resistance and negative emotions of being forced to accept this change. This was evident through my experience of being an employee at a wedding reception centre whilst there was a major change of the company's hierarchy. I'd worked for this company for 4 years when the 2 executive chefs that had been employed for more than 10 years by the organisation left. The organisation was forced to locate and employ a new chef whom had a lack of current work values that each employee had used for years. The sudden change made the employees feel disorientated through the lack of organisation the new chef adhered to. For example, we would find out our work rosters sometimes 5 days before the working week, or even the day right before. This lack of certainty in our minds created frustration and a sense of loss as the lack of quality in the kitchen decreased. All of these negative feelings toward the new management created great resistance and organisational silence throughout all employees. Now over to Vincent for stage 2.
Stage 2 of the model, known as the neutral zone, involves people being affected by the change and are often confused, uncertain and impatient. It is the phase that bridges the old ways of doing things to the new ways as a result of the change. People may feel resentment towards the changes taking place, along with having low morale and anxiety about their role. As with the example in regards to our jobs, after the changes of management, at first we had some resentment towards the organisation given the new ways of doing things. This led to having low morale and questioning whether the new change would work. We all felt that we had these negative feelings until time passed and we embraced the change and realised it wasn't that bad and that things were working out. Mickey will now talk about stage 3.
The final stage of the model reflects a scenario in which workers are past the uncertainty and confusion associated with new change and adaptation. People are accepting of managerial change and of a newfound motivation and energy to succeed under different management. An example of this in my working life is when I worked for a company in which initially I had 1 supervisor. The change implemented was rotating supervisors weekly, and although there were downfalls in terms of understanding multiple supervisor-specific instructions as opposed to just one, I was learning more as each supervisor brought something different in how they ran the bar each shift, and my newfound energy and motivation was due to the fact that a lot of the repetitiveness was eliminated. I interacted with various members of staff on a weekly basis, learning that there is more than one way to get the same job done. I'll pass over to Sam to conclude.
Thank you, Mickey. As you can see through our discussion, the idea of transition is key to aiding management when trying to or experiencing organisational change. Through clear communication and planning, each stage can be facilitated correctly and a smooth transition can occur. Thank you.